want you to do the lethal weapon roll and come up. Everybody, start shifting over here.
I hurt myself.
Me too. Drop. Drop. If you got a bike, be by your bike.
My social life used to say, like, every time you say a little bit in the car, my kids make me put on the Bluetooth, and they say, what's the thing they
Thank you so much.
He said,
Thank you so
just stay in the shade. Don't let the sun go in there.
Can you see my shot? Okay. I just
I came to the other day, walked out, like they were nesting on that hay.
Somebody with a badge, need to go tell them to stop for 30 minutes.
yeah. Hey, Garfield. Well, I tried to take pictures for the wasn't working for show. Two for show. He's like two.
Yeah, I got it from
It's actually yeah.
Take this all day.
So are you okay inside?
Sure. As long as she'll come in and take it.
Here's the revenge.
Lord, that's funny.
Shower with
Yeah. The hierarchy of things are going to give you cancer. That's just like all that. Yeah, but still, yeah. I'll make sure I take the right one.
I think we can have that. We may get one of us, but based on that,
let's all, but they're going to support me, right?
go Chief. Chief goes. No rain as far. Yeah.
You got it covered, though.
See you, Andy. Say Chief. Yeah. Maybe you should have worn a long sleeve shirt because let's get the gun.
Well, I had it ready, but I thought, I'm gonna stand by the other guys. Okay.
Are you all ready?
We'll do this. There we go. Good morning. Welcome to our annual Safe Schools, Safe Student Press Conference. Before we get started, I want to thank a couple people. We have several members of our school board here. We have Miss Kat Bike, Miss Patricia Fontenot Ridley, Miss Christy Christie, and Miss Lauren Morgan. So thank you all for being here today. Thank you for your support for schools, and especially today for the safety of our students as well. I'd also like to thank Kristen Jackson, the principal at West Hills Elementary. I know they got a lot going on as they get ready for school, so for them to let us crash in their parking lot, we appreciate that. They've been great hosts today. Again, I'll say good morning and thanks for being here. As you know, we begin every school year with a conversation about safe schools and safe students. And we do this for a reason. It's our chance to underscore the critical role safety plays in our district's mission. So it's only right that we start the school year out by recognizing the folks who work mostly behind the scenes to make sure that our schools are safe. And our hope is that all of our families understand that they can feel confident in the folks who are here, and you're going to hear from several of them in just a little bit. I want to say, as the superintendent of Knox County Schools, I'm extremely grateful for all of our law enforcement partners, as well as our school safety team and security team that we have within the district that works hard every day to keep our students safe. In a little bit, Chief Granillo, our Chief of Safety, will speak a little more to our law enforcement partners, but I just want to say again, thank you for them. I think sometimes as a community we don't realize, we think about the sheriff, we think about KPD and the chief, but we don't think about all the other law enforcement agencies that are working behind the scenes, from Homeland Security to FBI to the Highway Patrol. There's so many that work. Unfortunately, we've seen them all respond when we've needed them, and thank God they weren't real situations when that happened, but they're there, and it's good to know that. As I said, this event happens every year, and we try to be intentional to remind our folks and our families that safety and security is our top priority. That's why no matter what, we have 3 core strategies, and we want to remind everyone as we get ready for the school year. The first, in Knox County Schools, we believe our best strategies are to have a highly trained armed officer in every school, and I'm happy to say that we start this year out again with the ability to do that. Very strong force that we have within that are all, people don't know this either, that are all bonded by our Sheriff's Department and able to be highly trained to do that. I was able this year to speak to the class as they came in for their training. I just really appreciate the stress that's put on relationships. We talk a lot about this is a lot of our students' first encounter with law enforcement, and how important that is, that it's a positive one. And I know all of our men and women who serve make sure that that happens every day. We also, besides just having an armed officer, a highly trained armed officer in every school, we also talk about individualized safety plans for every school. We're on West Hill right now. Is a very different campus where the streets are arranged and everything around it than maybe you'll see in other places. So every school, it's not a cookie cutter model that we use. Every school has to have its own safety plan to make sure that we're doing what we need to keep everyone safe. And then finally, and maybe most important to the people listening, is a commitment that we do take every threat seriously. And a lot of the folks you'll hear from today are the ones who are working 24/7 to make sure that they take care of all those threats. And again, thankfully, most of them are not serious. But we also know that we can't do this alone. So we encourage every community member who hears this, that if they see something, that they say something. That's lots of times how we get our information to know to dig further and look into that. So I want to encourage everyone to continue to do that. In a little more, you'll hear again from Chief Granillo as he talks about how we continue. You never can in school safety be set and arrive. You're always continuously improving, and he's going to talk how we're adapting to some of those challenges that our students and staff face every day. In previous years, you've seen me stand shoulder to shoulder with law enforcement as we have today, but there's a new group standing with us today, my senior team, and I want to call them out real quick. So they are our senior leadership team. We have Dr. Keith Wilson, who's the Assistant Superintendent of Academics, Ms. Jennifer Himmelgarn, the Assistant Superintendent of Business and Talent, Dr. Garfield Adams, the Assistant Superintendent of Operations, Corey Lautner, the Assistant Superintendent of Strategy, and Dr. Andrew Brown, the Assistant Superintendent of Success. I've asked them to stand with me today just to have a little different slant on safety. Safety is not just about what we do external to the buildings, but it's also about what happens inside the buildings. And that really comes down to who we choose to work inside our schools. Every hallway, every classroom, every lunchroom, on every field, and in every auditorium. Who we bring in to work with our students is as critically important as what we do, again, on the exterior. And these individuals have worked hard this summer to make sure we have those right people with our principals. One of the most important ways that we're strengthening school safety is by raising the expectations of our school staff. That means increasing more selectively who we have to hire. In the last 4 years, we've invested over $120 million into salaries, and that investment's paying off. Our vacancies are an all-time low. I know last year we started with 6 vacancies out of 4,700 teachers. This year, I think that number, we still have a few days before, but it's somewhere in that 10 to 15 range. Top-tier educators are choosing to raise their hand and work in Knox County Schools, and we believe that's not only good for the education, that's also good for the safety of our students. So we're in a better position than ever before to put the best people in front of our kids. Because whether it's a teacher, a custodian, a coach, or a principal, my expectation is that every adult in the building will take responsibility and create a safe and supportive environment for all of our kids. It's all of our responsibilities, and especially if you work for Knox County Schools, my expectation is that you're doing that to keep our students safe. That includes making a commitment to act or speak when something isn't right. And we're very fortunate that our folks do that. But we made a special note to talk about that a lot during the trainings, especially of our new hires this year, that they are the first line for the safety of our kids, and that's very important for us. A perfect example of that practice is the hiring of our new chief of our safety department, Carlo Granillo. He brings more than 31 years of experience to the table. Before coming to KCS, he was the police chief of the Fontana School Police Department in California, and prior to that, he worked for the city of Colton and Fontana police departments in patrol, internal affairs, hostage negotiation, and just about everything else in between. Since joining our team, he's visited 55 schools to meet with principals and staff. That's one thing during the interview process we liked a lot. He's very relational and understands that the front line is where it happens. He's actively seeking innovative ways to enhance our school safety through infrastructure and technology. He's collaborating with partner agencies, and he's committed to building trust with families. And with that, I'll turn it over to Chief Carlo Granillo.
Morning, everybody. Dr. Reiswick, thank you very much. I really appreciate it. As Dr. Reiswick said, our core strategies haven't changed. Having a highly trained armed officer in every school, individualized safety plans to meet the unique needs of every school environment, a commitment to taking threats seriously and encouraging every member of our community to say something if they see something. These are the pillars that guide our work every single day. But because school safety isn't static, it's essential that we continue to evolve for school safety. A safe school is one where students and staff feel supported, protected, and ready to learn, everywhere from the parking lot to the classroom. So I'd like to talk for a few minutes about some of the areas we're going to focus on to continue to support our core strategies. These being and including infrastructure upgrades, technology and surveillance, intelligence, and relationships and communication. This year's budget, we're very blessed, had an investment of $2 million towards school security, which is allowing us to move forward in many of our critical infrastructure improvements. Some of those that have already occurred and have been completed are ballistic film and ballistic resistant window film, which is present at all our campuses throughout the district. Vestibule entrances will be added at 21 school sites this year, with the hope and a long-term goal of making sure every campus has a vestibule in the future. continually upgrading and replacing our existing camera systems and servers district-wide. Additional installation of vehicle bollards at our campuses. Currently 30 campus sites have bollards in place at this time. On the surveillance side, we have over 6,500 cameras currently active across 91 school sites. We're exploring and testing technology that can integrate our current surveillance system and camera system, and we're planning to start piloting advanced software for an enhanced proactive threat detection system. Dr. Reiswick said that our school team is unlike any other in the district for a district our size, and that's true. Because we're one of the largest school safety departments in the state, we're very blessed that we're able to maintain a dedicated intelligence unit. This team works closely with our local, state, and federal partners, many of which are here today. I greatly appreciate your presence and support. Together, we monitor regional and national trends for possible local impact. This helps us stay on the pulse of what's occurring, to stay on top of things, whether it's across the country or across county lines. That way we're aware of it, and we're using the technology to our advantage and the intelligence to our advantage. We're also using community intelligence, what we're learning directly from our students, family, and staff. Last year was our first year of full operation of our Text-A-Tip, and we received over 150 tips during that period. It's a completely anonymous way to report concerns, and it's open to everyone, our students, our staff, families, and even neighbors in our communities. This tool helps us assess the situation, respond quickly to whatever is reported, whether it's a threat, a safety issue, or something that just does not feel right. Text-A-Tip is installed on every student's Chromebook, linked in our websites, and available through the free app in both the Google Play and Apple App Stores. But at the end of the day, our best resource isn't hardware or software, it's people. It's our officers. Our officers who work in our schools are especially trained and deeply committed. Many of them grew up in Knox County. Some of them are raising their own children here, children that attend our schools. And every one of them shows up every single day, not just to protect, but to connect with our community and our kids. Our officers are visible, they're approachable, and they're building relationships strong enough that when something feels off, someone will speak up and say something. As a parent myself, I completely understand how urgent it feels to get information when something's happening at your child's school. And the truth is, there's no way to communicate fast enough to completely erase that anxiety during those moments. But I want you to know that I'm committed to building trust ahead of time, so that when you don't hear from us right away, it's not because we're unaware. It's not because we're unaware. It's because we're responding, because we're doing the work of keeping students and staff safe. We promise to act quickly, communicate clearly, and be as transparent as possible when we can. Above all, I want families to know that we care about your kids. Your kids are our kids. We're doing this work because it matters, and we take this responsibility seriously. I'd like to close with this. We can't eliminate every risk, but what we can do everything possibly to reduce that risk. We're not waiting for a crisis to get ready. We're planning ahead, laying the groundwork, and staying focused and being proactive so that our schools are safe and secure and ready for learning. I'm honored to lead our department. I'm proud of the men and women that wear our badge, and I'm grateful for the support from the community and our law enforcement community as a whole, that we all work together to protect our schools and keep everyone safe. Really appreciate everybody's time. At this moment, bear with me. Thank you. At this moment, I'd like to highlight some of our partners that are here present today. First of all, representing United States Secret Service, Resident Agent in Charge, Catherine Pierce. Thank you for being here. She came in from Washington, D.C. to be with us today, so I appreciate it. Thank you. Next, representing the Tennessee Highway Patrol, Sergeant Howard Greeley and Trooper Vaughn. Where we have them over here. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for being here. Representing FBL Knoxville, Assistant Special Agent in Charge, Scott Davis. Thank you for being here, Scott. I really appreciate it. Also representing our Tennessee Homeland Security, Special Agent in Charge, Mark McKee. Mark, thank you very much for your friendship and support. I want to thank everybody again for their support to Knox County. At this time, I'd like to turn over to Chief Noel of Knoxville PD for a few words, then to be followed by Chief Deputy Bernie Lyon to represent and have a few comments on behalf of Knox County Sheriff. So thank you very much. Chief Noel? Sir.
Thank you, Chief Granillo. When he first came here, we really hit it off, and I think we were sitting down in the same room in the first week, talking about Knoxville, talking about school safety, and our teams really work very, very closely together to make sure all of the students in Knox County Schools are safe. So, Chief, thank you for your partnership. Also like to thank Superintendent Riswick. Since I've been here for 3 years, we've worked very, very closely together on school safety and a variety of issues. So, Superintendent, I really appreciate your leadership. And Chief Deputy Bernie Lyon as well work very, very closely together with the Knox County Sheriff's Office, not only on school safety, but on a wide variety of issues as well. We just finished a property crimes roundup, so we're used to working with them. All of us are committed to keeping our schools safe. So one of the first things that I think of with school safety is traffic. So starting Thursday for the next 2 weeks, KPD officers will be in school zones all throughout the city conducting traffic enforcement. So if you speed in the school zone, you will get a ticket. We're not going to give you a warning, we're going to give you a ticket. So please slow down and be aware. But think more than just the school zones. I can tell you when I'm going to the gym in the morning at 6 in the morning, I see kids out waiting for the bus, and it's dark. Please slow down, be aware. Kids are going to be new to their bus route. They're going to be new to their bus stop. Everywhere you go in the city, please slow down. Our officers will be out doing enforcement, but you don't want to get a ticket from us. But more importantly, you don't want to hurt or seriously injure a young child. So please slow down. Please be aware, because if not, we will be out there. We will catch you. But also, one of the things that we focus on as well is school threats, right? And we work really closely with not only with the sheriff's office, with the school security, but also with the Tennessee Homeland Security, the FBI as well. We take these threats very, very seriously. In the city of Knoxville, if there's a school threat, a KPD officer will respond, a KPD supervisor will respond, and a detective will respond. And we will use all of our investigative powers, state investigative powers, federal investigative powers to track down who made that threat. And if we're able to, we will make an arrest and we will put you in jail. So please, think about that before you make a foolish threat. And also, we are very prepared to respond in an emergency. We just finished a training exercise at Central High School last week with ourselves and the school team. The Knoxville Police Department is ready and able to effectively respond to any emergency that you have. Our SROs are trained. They're out in the schools, so you will get a great response. We're looking forward to have everybody back at school, but please slow down and please be safe. With that, I'm going to announce Sheriff Chief Deputy Lyon to come up.
Good morning. As we begin the new school year, the safety of our children in Knox County Schools is our utmost priority. The Knox County Sheriff's Office is committed to once again working closely with our sister agencies and Knox County School Security to ensure the safety and productive learning and environment for our students and our staff. Together we can create a safe atmosphere where our children can thrive and academically and socially meet our expectations. Thank you.
We also want to make you aware that you can learn more about this topic in episode 1, season 2 of the Education Blueprint podcast. Superintendent Riswick and Chief Granillo will be sitting down together to talk in more detail about school safety and security. That episode will be available on September 4th, wherever you listen to podcasts. With that, we will open it up for a few questions.
Chief Granillo talked about some of the safety upgrades that are included, including piloting some new technology. Can you expand more on that?
Yes, absolutely. We're very blessed here at Knox County to have what I mentioned, the 6,500 cameras district-wide. So what you're talking about is the use of advanced analytics, using video analytics, weapons detection, and threat assessment or threat detection systems using our existing camera systems. So we're very blessed, and we're moving forward. And our intention is to we actually will be piloting a form of that to see if we can do that on a larger scale throughout the district.
I think some other school districts have seen like AI detecting weapons. Is that something that is part of this pilot?
Yes, it is. Yes, same type of technology, using our existing video surveillance systems in CCTVs in conjunction with AI and software-based do threat assessments and identify potential threats prior to getting near our campuses. So yes.
Are there any specific areas of the county you guys have to manage safety for urban schools, rural schools, and suburban schools? How do you go about those different types of safety plans and threats?
Well, we're very proactive along with the state in our safety plans, and as we mentioned in some of our core strategies, is every site has a unique safety plan, a strategic plan for that environment. Every location is different, from traffic flow to population of the campus to the region in the county. So we take all those items into consideration when we assess and do our assessment on staffing and prioritizing infrastructure, whether it's fencing, additional camera systems, all that goes into play. And that's the great thing and the importance of having a unique individual safety plan, site plan for every single school in the district.
Chief Newell touched on the threats that we get in last year, especially those false threats from some students proved to be a big problem. Can you go more into detail about how we're going into this school year to really try and eliminate that and deter students from doing that?
Well, I think a lot of it is education, and from our partners here with the Sheriff's Office as well as KPD, 100% they're going to be investigated correctly, thoroughly, but also within our internal systems, within our own threat assessment systems within KCS, there are also different degrees, and that's the great thing about our communication we have with our agencies, SSOs and SROs, and also our threat assessment systems and personnel that we have within the county to assess it. Sometimes it could be something as I don't want to minimize it, but it could be a child that has some challenges that doesn't realize what he or she are doing. And does that necessarily necessitate a law enforcement response? Odds are no, but we do have ways to hold them accountable, give them the right resources, and also help them with that. But also we need to hold people accountable because there's the other part of the population that want to have a safe environment and not be disrupted by somebody making a bad decision. So we're also working with Judge Irwin and also his safe policies. I actually have staff there right now looking at different ways of how do we educate, how do we make sure that our youth understand there are consequences. If you thought about going into the military, perhaps you may not be that candidate because you made a bad decision early on. If you want that high-paying trade job, perhaps an employer may look, hey, what happened here? Or if you're looking at that college opportunity, whatever it might be. So it's educating our youth and making sure they understand there are consequences when we do those things, but also realizing that there are youth and they make mistakes. But we also have to be held accountable for that and hopefully get them on the right path. So we're looking at whether it's intervention, whether it's restorative practices, all those various things across the county as well. But
I have a question for Superintendent Rice.
Sure.
You could just talk to me a little bit about how the new cell phone policy kind of plays into safety this year.
Sure. The new policy is actually driven by the action taken by the legislators to restrict during instructional time. Then that came to our board, and our board had great conversation, a lot of input from principals, a lot of input from the community to come up with a place of what that would look like. So across Tennessee, we're going to see this year. Here in Knox County, students will not have it. They can have it before school. When they get there, they can have it, with them, but just put away during the school day. And then after school, obviously, they'll be able to pick their phone back up and do those things. So, I think something that Chief said earlier on really was important when he said, just because you don't hear anything like in that exact minute, our communication team does a great job of trying to get something out, and they try to get something kind of back out every 15 to 30 minutes to update during a situation. But what Chief said, I think, is a reminder to our families, just because you don't hear anything in the second, as it's happening minute by minute, doesn't mean that we're not doing everything we need to do to make that happen. So I don't think it's going to be a huge difference. I mean, I think different people do different things with that, but I think our teachers and our principals do a really good job of communicating that out to families and making sure the facts are out there for them on that end. I think this is really more probably an instructional impact than it is a safety impact for us. And I think that's where we'll probably see, some of the differences. But I just want to reinforce again what Chief Granillo said. We will continue to communicate with families. We understand. I've got children myself that went to Knox County Schools, and you want to know those things. We understand that. And our team and our principals do a really good job of trying to get that information out, accurate information as quickly as we can, and that won't change this year. We'll continue with that.
You also mentioned that there's around 10 to 15 positions that have yet to be filled for the school year. Can you talk about where those positions are and what the goal is to get those filled?
So let me say this first, because I think, sometimes the standard's raised and then we start accepting the standard as what it is, which is great. We welcome that. 4,700 teachers. We typically have had between 450 to 400 vacancies. Last year was amazingly different that we had 6, right? So I just want to put that in some historic perspective. The fact that we're down, the reason I say 10 to 15 is I know Alex Mosman, who's our director of talent acquisition, refuses to think we're not going to start at 0, and I like that. That's why he's in the job he's in. So there's a real good chance right now they're filling those. I don't know that there's like a position. I know in talking to principals, just in the last couple of weeks when I've been out talking to them, a lot of them are talking about, I was at South Doyle Middle School, which is a school that, has a little bit of an urban core to it, and that principal, all the teachers came back a day early because they just wanted to. And he said, the first time I ever remember, I lost 1 teacher, right? So everyone else is back. So the momentum you get from being able to do those things, having that same team, not having to reteach kind of where the copy machine is and here's our philosophies. I think there's a lot of excitement. At Austin East, talking to their principal this weekend, same kind of thing, lost 1 teacher. So I think what people typically would think is those are probably urban core. That's not what we're seeing. When you get down to those 10 or 15 over 4,700, you're talking about, somebody whose spouse takes a late job and they resign, or, that a health situation comes up. There's really not kind of a core that we're seeing just a problem when you're down to 10 to 15. That's a good question. Sure.
Any other questions? I think we'll wrap it up. Thank you. Captain Aaron.
Here's your. No, is it not?